Hi everyone. So yesterday I had already talked about the 4-minute speed meta that we're playing with the Tal Rasha wizard right now. It's super fun, it's really good. If you want to go check it out, the link is in the description. And yesterday night we also tried out some 2-man pushing with this wizard. So I've been playing the Star Pact Tal Rasha wizard with like a meteor spam version and a lot of arcane power recovery through arcane power on crit on a helm and magic weapon conduit. And man, this was working like a charm. So Rob was playing the support Barb with the whirlwind power, pulling stuff together. And I was playing like at ranged, trying to stay safe, trying to coordinate the nukes with him and throwing those meteors. And it was super good, super fun. And we've cleared GR150 on all 5 of our attempts, all 5 without a conduit. And it was like super easy mode. It was actually incredibly easy. So the clears you see here right now in the background is over the span of 1.5 hours. And I guess we could have pretty much done almost any rift. As you can see here, this is like a key that's on floor 2. We started out on nothing really crazy on floor 1. And we just like obliterate. Sometimes I kill blue packs in like 2 or 3 convention rotations. And most of the trash packs just die in one go, basically. Our best run ended up being like 10.5 minutes or something, and our worst like 13 minutes, with nothing really crazy. Those rifts were not really impressive. There was only one other team that had done 150 by that time. This was also Wizard plus Barb combo. The playstyle of this whole setup is actually super fun, at least from what I can tell, also from the Barb. So I enjoyed this a lot because we kind of kept moving forward with the entire pool slowly through the rift between the convention cycles. So the idea is that I was like calling out for Rob when I was about to nuke, and I would position myself at a big distance for the Zays and the power hungry. Sometimes I would press the storm armor to spawn an Oculus ring, and Rob would try to move the pull away from the Oculus ring so that I can jump in and do more damage. And every time my combination of elements on Arcane was coming up, I would tell him like 3 seconds before, I would start throwing those meteors into the pull, and Rob stops the train. I nuke like for 4 seconds during the cycle, and we repeat when we move on again. And that worked really well because he constantly thinned out the pull to not lag out very much because I was just destroying the trash monsters. We moved the elites along, and then sometimes you get like a pylon like this here, and you can just destroy everything. We did try some shenanigans to save up pylons for the boss. So you can see this here, we actually had a shield and a channeling. Both of them don't really help in terms of DPS, but they produce extra targets from Nemesis braces. And the idea was that, yeah, we would just do more damage on the boss because we have more targets, we can produce air damage and get more arcane power on crit and stuff like that. Didn't really work out that well, I gotta say. So I think the only pylon really worth saving here is a power pylon to kind of speed up the boss a little bit. In general, the boss fight wasn't really a huge deal. Like even on like a rather bad single target boss, it was like 3 minutes or so without anything. And then we had like some slightly faster fights with a pylon. So this is kind of how that went. There are definitely some bosses that are way better, like Zaxxers would probably be by far the best because you can stack out the Stricken until 75%, and then you start getting the ads that give you extra air damage, extra arcane power, and Oculus rings. And if you have a pylon on top, you can probably just like kill Zaxxers in like 30 seconds right away. So this is basically how that goes. That would probably be the best. Most of the bosses we had were pretty bad. So we had Raziel, Rhyme, Bone Warlock. Yeah, all of those are pretty terrible, but it's not really a huge deal. So the Tal Rasha wizard is actually a trash killer build that can also kill a boss fairly well compared to something like the Hoda Barbarian or the Nova Necro that have like 0 boss damage in this season. So those builds actually are better at clearing the rift, but they just can't finish the boss. And this is exactly what I had also predicted before the season, where I said that the Tal Rasha wizard is going to fill this niche, especially in 2-man and 3-man pushing, where you just don't bring a boss killer and you kill a boss with the trash killer instead. So in 3-man, you could combine this with a ZDH and then do exactly the same thing, just with more damage, and it's going to be even easier. Theoretically, you can play this Tal Rasha wizard in groups as well, but the main issue it has is that it's very, very laggy. So compared to the Nova Necro, which has like 0 lags, and the Hoda, which is kind of moderate, the Tal Rasha wizard really just kills the game sometimes if you're not careful. So you really have to try to keep the pull size low, so like 20 targets or so, 30 targets maybe. And then you have to make sure that during your arcane cycles, when you throw all those meteors, stuff actually dies. If that's not happening, then you might just lag out and yeah, you can't continue basically, or you're gonna die at least. So you gotta be quite careful, you gotta manage the lag really well. But this is what we did, and we didn't have any issues, at least in 2-man. In 4-man, yeah, you gotta be careful, so you can play the Tal Rasha Wizard either as a trash killer or as a boss killer there, I guess. Although better boss killers exist. With Impale and Rathma, you could do that with the Tal Rasha and kind of help out a little bit in the Rift, and then kill the boss in a decent time. Or you just go full, like, all in on a Meteor and have like even triple support. Like, I could see that work out pretty well as well. Either way, it was a fun little push that we did at the end of the night. We didn't really like try hard for this, and I don't know if we're gonna continue with this. Even though our time could be way better, I think even this Paragon we could aim for something like a sub 8 minutes clear or so quite comfortably already, because no Condi, bad bosses, etc. that we had in those runs. So there's a lot of room for improvement. But for now, we're mostly focused on other things, and I'm also slowly preparing to do the solo 150 push. Just wanted to share this with you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're having a blast in the season, and I'll see you guys next time.